Streaming from Oklahoma's own digital studio, this is TU Football Update with Jeremy Poplin.
That's right, it's the preview edition for the TU Football Update. Welcome in everyone to the digital studios, where today we'll break down Abilene Christian, who comes in to take on the University of Tulsa coming up tomorrow in a high-profile matchup for both schools. Just saw Trey Lamb's Instagram feed a few moments ago. Looks like all the premium seats are sold out tomorrow at Chapman Stadium, and they're expecting a big crowd in the debut game for Trey Lamb as head football coach for TU. Well, the opponent has a familiar face as their head coach, and that is Keith Patterson, who spent about a decade at the University of Tulsa across the multiple staffs of Steve Kragthorpe and also Todd Graham, and they won a lot of football games. Over 70 plus. You'll hear Keith Patterson talk about that here coming up in just a few minutes. And one of the other items that needs to be mentioned is in celebrating the 25th anniversary of that 05 championship team for TU. I mean, Keith Patterson was very involved in that era of Tulsa football, so he'll mention that in his press conference that we'll get to here coming up in just a bit. ACU is an interesting bunch that has a lot on the defensive side coming back, but they lost a ton in the transfer portal. Got some numbers for you there as well. But first, let's kick things off with Keith Patterson, the head football coach at ACU. Then we'll hear from Graham Harrell, and then just what a difficult challenge that this actually is for the Tulsa coaching staff, with some comments by Trey Lamb. But first things first, here's KP, also Oklahoma native.
You know, it's well documented. I spent the better part of a decade of my career there, and got, my son-in-law played football there. My niece was a cheerleader. My wife and I got married at Sharp Chapel on that campus. Had another nephew that played, and so it's just we won a championship there in 2005. So there's a lot of things around going back home. It's almost very similar in a lot of ways to going back to Texas Tech last year, a place that I hold very near and dear to my heart. Both those places had a tremendous impact on my career and development as a football coach. So, excited for our players to be able to get out there. You know, in the modern day of college football, it's really you really don't know what kind of team you have. You add so many new pieces to the puzzle, and from coaches and players. So that's what I love about the challenging schedule that we have. You got a program that it has just hired a new coach, and they're going to be excited to play, and there's an excitement around that program. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I was there longer than I was at Texas Tech, but it's the same feelings, man. It just brings back a lot of great memories, and I think about people and all the people that I crossed paths with there at the University of Tulsa, and friends that I still have, and just the impact that time at Tulsa had on my own personal life. And so it really, but once you cross the white line, those things are, it's all, you put it all behind you, and it's just another game. It's another opponent. We don't put too much stock into any of the other things, other than it's cool to know that, you had a part of the history of a very successful period of the University of Tulsa football game. I think we went to, we won conference championship. We played for it three different times, went to 6 different, I can't remember how many bowl games we went to, but it was just tremendous. I mean, we almost won 70 football games there in our time, from Steve Kragthorpe all the way through Todd Graham. So that just brings back great memories, and really has everything to do with people.
Satisfy your sweet tooth with a Brahms old-fashioned banana split. Crafted with a delicious banana, split down the middle and filled with not 1, but 3 scoops of Brahms premium ice cream flavors. To complete this masterpiece, all your favorite toppings are poured on each scoop to bring it all together in a perfect harmony of flavor. Treat yourself to an old-fashioned banana split at Brahms, where every spoonful leaves you wanting more.
Lots of eyes will be on the ACU offense, who's virtually having to replace everybody. Just a handful of players that are back. Graham Harrell is their OC, and if that name sounds familiar, well, it should. Texas Tech great. and has spent a lot of time in the coaching ranks now at a variety of different places, which presents a few challenges for Trey Lamb and this Tulsa defensive staff, including which version of Graham Harrell are you going to get? Are you going to get the USC version? Are you going to get the West Virginia or the Purdue version? And there are instances in his different stops where they've been different in how they've operated the offense, going from true versions of the air raid to a combination of a variety of different formations. So that has presented a problem in trying to prepare for Graham Harrell and this ACU offense. So let's hear from the offensive coordinator.
Like you said, there hasn't, since North Dakota State last year, there's a ton of new faces. Obviously on the coaching staff and on the team, and even the guys that aren't new, especially offensively. There's not, most of the guys that played a ton of snaps last year are no longer here. So, I think we got a lot of people that are hungry, a lot of people that want to go prove themselves and have a lot to improve. But it's tough to replace the amount of experience that we lost off last year's team. But the guys have, since last January or February when I got here, I think we've worked them really hard. I think the guys have bought in, and hopefully, they should be really excited to play come Saturday. I think, being our first game, we got to protect the football. And I think that even if you watch some of the games from this past weekend, sometimes it's sloppy football in week one. And we don't want to use that as an excuse. It's always week one. No, we've had a ton of practice. We've gotten a ton of reps in. And we got to protect the football, try to stay on the field on third downs, and we get in the red zone, score points, score touchdowns. And that'll be important for us. But like I said, I think that what's going to be big for us and what I want to see is, one, protect the football, and two, don't try to do too much. Just do your job, over and over and over and over. Consistently do your job at a high level. And if you do that, then we'll put ourselves in a position to give ourselves a chance to win. And if you don't, it'll be a long day. If you're out there trying to do too much all day or turn the football over all day, you're not going to give yourself a chance to be successful. And so those will be important things for us.
What did the numbers specifically look like? Well, ACU averaged almost 34 points per game last season. A lot of turnover, though, losing its starting quarterback, 2 top running backs, top 2 wide receivers, 5 starting offensive linemen. But they do get back their all-conference tight end and their number 3 and 4 wide receivers that do have some experience. So who's that starter going to be? Well, it's Sam Earl. He actually returns to ACU after 3 years, North Texas and Marshall. He was battling for that starting position in Marshall last year in fall camp, did not earn that job. Started 8 games at ACU in 2021, threw for 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns. 5 games he got to start at Marshall last season due to injury. And then at the wide receiver spot, they've got, in losing their top 2 1,000-yard receivers, they're bringing back J.J. Henry, who had 42 catches, 485 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Javon Gibson with 23 catches, 335 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, Jed Castles is the big tight end from last season. He's back-to-back all UAC selection and a big target for them inside of the red zone. And their newcomer, J.B. Mitchell from Eastern Michigan, adds some depth to that position. The running back spot, they're having to replace their top 2 rushers. So they went to the portal and they got B.K. Jackson from East Texas A&M, 443 yards last season, and E.J. Wilson from Temple, some time at FIU as well, 500-plus career rushing yards to lead that competition, along with Jordan Vaughn and Rovon Banks Jr. And as I mentioned before, that entire offensive line has got to be rebuilt. So, all right, Trey Lamb met with the media earlier this week, and he talked a little bit about this matchup with ACU. And on the specific side, I had a chance to ask him exactly how difficult this matchup is in terms of the timing perspective. Here's the head football coach from TU.
Abilene Christian, great team with a great head coach. Keith Patterson obviously had great years here at Tulsa. Unbelievable man, does it the right way, good Christian man, really good football coach. They had a good team last year, went 9-4, lost in the second round of the playoffs. This would be a great test for us. They are a good ball club. They return a lot of players on defense. Graham Harrell's the offensive coordinator first year. It's kind of funny. Graham's a couple years older than me, and Graham Harrell and Colt McCoy were the guys I watched. Like, that's who I studied on DVDs when I was in college. A young player in college, I wanted to be like Colt McCoy and Graham Harrell. and it's pretty cool to get to coach against him. He'll do a great job with his air raid offense, and Coach Patterson does an awesome job. He'll have those guys ready to play. Great head coach, good defensive mind. Some of their better players could play anywhere in the country. They would start for every team in our league. Their will linebacker number 1 would start at every team in our league. Their 2 edge guys, number 8 and number 90, would start anywhere in our conference without question. Great football players. Number 2 in the back end corner, 6'2", 210. They're going to move him around and play some different positions with him. He does a phenomenal job. Offensively, they lost pretty much everybody, all 5 starters on the O-line, running back, quarterback. Coach Bowie, who took the OC job at Western Kentucky, put up 41 points Saturday with McIver, the quarterback that they had last year, took him with him through the transfer portal. J.J. Henry's their leading receiver coming back. He is very slippery. Ole Miss transfer, 5'10", 160. He is a guy that can break the game open. He's extremely fast and quick, a lot like Zion Booker on our side of the ball, a true slot. They're going to move him around and try to get him the ball. And then their tight end, number 88, Texas Tech transfer, 6'7", is a real threat in the passing game. So a lot of question marks for our defensive staff. Like, what are they going to run on offense? What's Graham going to do? Is he going to go back to his USC days, West Virginia days, or is it going to be like more like Purdue and Texas Tech, 4 open air raid? We will have that question answered by the end of the first quarter. We're prepared for both, and we're excited for the challenge that he's going to present to our defensive staff and our defensive players. It's going to be great weather. Really encouraged by our fan base that has shown up in some of the scrimmages and shown some presence on social media. I expect a big crowd, great weather, first game of the year. Come out and see us. Come see what we have to prove, and I hope we accomplish things that we didn't even think were imaginable this season. So.
Can you talk to the specific challenge with Abilene's defense coming back with the number of stars they have, and they throw multiple things at you? So what type of specific challenge is that for you and your staff on the play calling front? Yeah, certainly very aggressive.
It helps having Kirk Francis, who can handle a high volume of offense. We've got to be able to dictate the tempos with huddle, motion shifts. We don't ever want to give them clean pictures from the sideline. We don't want to let them have the pin last because Keith will dial you up. And Coach does a nice job of recognizing formations and personnels. So we're going to make sure we have the pin last, whether that's huddling or going fast or shifting or trading or catching them off guard with unbalanced or whatever it may be. So we've got to make sure we always have the advantage offensively, and then we got to make them play to our pace, and make them play to our pace. And he does some things in the red zone. When you cross the 50, he'll zero blitz you, no problem. 1st and 10, like no issue. He will bring 7 guys and play cover 0. He'll also drop 8, and play cover 2 and cover 3 buzz and cover 3 weak, and he'll match some cover 1 in there. They're giving you multiple fronts with moving number 8 around. He'll mug in the A gap. He'll mug in the B gap. He'll play on the edge. He'll play Mike linebacker. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure simple for them, but hard for a team to prepare for in 7 days. Luckily, we've had 4 months, and that's going to help us in this game.
That was my next question in terms of difficulty, and you talked about them offensively as well. You don't really know what version that you're going to get, so to pack all that in, probably pretty nice to have this one as the opener rather than, having just a limited time to prepare overall.
There's no question. Having this game as the opener certainly helps because they're going to be different schematically on both sides than some other teams we play. They're not vanilla on either side of the ball. So we've got to. And when you're playing somebody who's not vanilla, my thought has always been less is more. I've never walked out of a game since I've been a head coach or a play caller, and that's 8 years in a row, where I said, man, I didn't have enough on the call sheet, and we lost the game or didn't play well on offense. But I've had at least 5 times where I've walked out of the game, I got too much, I can't get to what we do best, I got too many plays on there. So my thought, when people are complicated and complex, we want to shrink the menu and get good at a few things.
Just to show you the difference, the Wildcats returned 7 of their top 12 tacklers, featured 2 preseason All-Americans. Their defense allowed 30 points per game in 2024, but they have a lot that's coming back, including their front 7. Linebacker Will Schaefer is an absolute animal, 123 tackles. Kagan Roach as well, 64 tackles. They are both preseason All-Americans. Chris Wright earned All-Conference second team last year. Darius Moore, the other linebackers, coming back from injury after leading them in tackles with 78 in 2023. Secondary, has some veterans in there as well from the safety spots. 2 cornerbacks return as well. Depth was an issue in 2024, but they think that they have fixed that via the transfer portal. And a newcomer to watch is Noah Mangum, Northern Colorado, 500-plus snaps in 2 seasons, along with Isaiah Crawford, who is a Texas Tech transfer as well. So as you can tell, a lot of rebuilding along the offensive front, but that defense will be a very stiff challenge for Tulsa for the home opener. Hope everyone gets an opportunity to make it out there coming up on Saturday as well as we kick off the Trey Lamb era at the University of Tulsa. And we'll be back with a post-game recap from everything that happened on Saturday night. Hope to see you out there. Say hi if you do. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time from the digital desk when we talk more University of Tulsa football.
Thank you for watching this Oklahoma's own Digital Studios sports presentation. Stay with News on 6, online and on television anytime for the latest news, weather, and sports.